But today we're here, and what are we doing? We're fighting the boogeyman. Who's our enemy? Kennedy? He's an idiot.
Damn! RFK Jr., who just recently decided it was a good idea to swim in a sewage-filled river with his grandchildren, evidently has the judgment to run our health department, according to Trump. Well, he went in front of Congress and he was confronted about a few things. John Field, one of the advocates and first responder himself, had perhaps the most succinct way of describing RFK Jr. when he said that he was a, quote, incompetent, arrogant, dumb, stupid, repulsive fool to recklessly and without any humanity take away the health care for 140,000 first responders. Take a listen.
Secretary is disingenuous. The secretary is uniquely unqualified to hold any government position. But what are we doing today? Are we talking about a bill we've been walking the halls of Congress to get passed that they took off the table in December? Are we talking about Dr. Howard losing his job and the 15 doctors being fired? Are we talking about restoring NIH? What are we here for? This is 20 years of bullshit that you guys keep putting in front of us that we have to fight. You know, nobody apologized after 9/11. Nobody said sorry for making him sick, her sick, him sick. Instead, we created the World Trade Center Health Program. That was their apology. Create the World Trade Center Health Program, give them free care, health care, then make us walk the halls of Congress and get it extended to 2090. And then to gut it, you took your own apology away from us. Mm-hmm. So what are we talking about today? Is Kennedy going to come out and say he's not going to mess with us anymore? Is Kennedy going to come out and say, you know what? I support HR 1410 and S 739. Is the administration going to support HR 1410? Because the administration can just say, hey, everybody in Congress, support HR 1410. You know what? There's a thing, that reconciliation that they're doing right now. They can slip us in there. We can all be gone and John Field doesn't have to curse in front of everybody. But today we're here, and what are we doing? We're fighting the boogeyman. Who's our enemy? Kennedy? He's an idiot. Again, grossly unqualified to hold any position in the United States federal government. What an incompetent, arrogant, dumb, stupid, repulsive fool to recklessly, without any humanity, hurt 140,000 people. If you're not angry, then you're not human. Have a good one.
In addition to just the lies that RFK Jr. is putting out there regarding vaccines, he's also just taking away really basic healthcare. I mean, the 9/11 first responders, the whole reason they need the healthcare is because of their heroic actions that day. Congress, Republican members of Congress, and now RFK Jr. is making it so difficult for them to just receive healthcare because of the injuries that were caused to them that day. Talk about lacking humanity. John Field, in his comment, said, if you're not angry, you're not human. And again, that seemed to be the theme of people confronting RFK Jr. about these actions, this taking away of healthcare that he's doing again and again and again. His Make America Healthy Again is actually making America less healthy and making Americans less able to access healthcare. One of the founders of Ben & Jerry's brings out this point of how instead of funding Medicaid, people relying on Medicaid, people getting diagnosed with really serious illnesses, children getting diagnosed with really serious illnesses may now have their health care stripped away. Not because we can't afford it in this country, but because under Trump, they plan on taking away money from our healthcare system and putting more money into our defense, or really into our Department of War, our Pentagon. Take a listen of how he confronts RFK Jr. on this issue.
Members of the audience are reminded disruptions will not be permitted while the committee conducts its business. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from the hearing room.
Ben, why are you getting arrested?
Move down the hallway. If you stop, you will be arrested.
Poor kids in Gaza by buying bombs and pays for it by kicking kids off Medicaid in the U.S.
Ben, what are you calling for the Congress and senators to do for Gaza?
They need to let food into Gaza. They need to let food to starving kids. Congress is paying to bomb poor kids in Gaza and paying for it by kicking poor kids off Medicaid in the U.S.
Who knew that lead poisoning would be controversial? But when it comes to RFK Jr. and Trump, everything is on the table. I mean, here we have RFK Jr. trying to blame seed oils for perhaps every illness out there and trying to stop vaccines that we know save lives not being distributed because he doesn't like certain of the ingredients. But when it comes to lead poisoning, evidently that's okay. Senator Baldwin from Wisconsin called this out to his face at the most recent hearing because he has fired the entire branch of the childhood lead poisoning, which is in charge of making sure our children are not poisoned from lead. You would think this would be a bipartisan issue, but no, in their eagerness to cut from the government, they are willing to cut something as basic as keeping our children safe from lead poisoning. Take a listen.
Do you think lead poisoning in children is a significant concern?
It's a extremely significant concern.
Thank you. Then I would like to know why your department has effectively shut down the very program to address lead poisoning in children. The city of Milwaukee requested assistance from the CDC to help the city respond to lead poisoning cases tied to public schools. 6 schools have been closed, displacing more than 1,800 school children. The request for federal assistance was denied because of lack of staff. The entire childhood lead poisoning branch has been fired. In the words of a Milwaukee mom, it really sends a message of you don't matter. When a community asks for help to prevent lifelong complications for children and there is no one there to pick up the phone, and it's not because this program is ineffective, it's because you fired the entire team whose job it is to support communities like Milwaukee.
Of all the crazy things RFK Jr. does, he also shouldn't get a pass on that slide he made about DEI. He tried to say that China was ahead of us in science because of DEI. Now, we've heard this quite a bit, but we should never let it have a pass because the fact of the matter is in real time, Trump is trying to eliminate any references of people of color or women who have achieved something because they don't want leadership positions or government to reflect the diversity of our country. We see in real time him granting migrant asylum to white South Africaners. We hear him talk about pardoning Derek Chauvin, even though he was entitled to a thorough trial, thorough due process, and was convicted of murder. But this regime can't seem to go a day without referencing DEI. This is coming from somebody who fired the Surgeon General, evidently because she was pro-vaccine, and hired somebody new that did not have a license, which seems to me unqualified, only because she seemed to agree on his anti-vaccine commitment. Take a look at him being confronted with this latest DEI attack he made to Congress.
You've been unable to answer specific questions, sir. You are the wrong person for this job. And you had in this hearing today the unmitigated gall to say at the beginning of your testimony that China is ahead of the United States in healthcare because China does not have DEI.
I didn't say that.
Well, we can roll back the tape. You absolutely
And
did
you will
say
find
that.
I didn't say that.
That is absolutely what you said.
I was talking about science, and I didn't say they're ahead of us. They're ahead of us in some forms of science, certainly not in healthcare.
Well, we can roll back the tape.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.